Negotiating with the Islamic Republic regime in Iran is guaranteed failure. While they rule, every dollar of Iran's oil and taxes fuels nukes, missiles and terror. Every past deal only bought them time. The only real fix is to topple the regime and cut its hands off the money for good. Anything else is a dangerous waste, wrote Iranian Americans for Liberty on X. Farzad Khoshborish, a 31-year-old pro-monarchy activist from Nekka, died after being arrested again by officers of the Mazandaran Criminal Investigation Department. He sustained severe injuries under heavy torture in the detention center and died shortly afterward at Behshar Hospital. According to reports shared, Mr. Farzad and his brother were violently beaten in custody and extensive bruising was visible on Mr. Farzad's body. The only image circulated showing signs of torture is a covert photo of his feet in the hospital, as officers prevented any photography of his face or other parts of his body. According to his brother, during detention, Mr. Farzad asked for water, and after drinking the cup given to him by the officers, water that his brother had refused to drink, he developed severe bloody diarrhea and vomiting. This condition continued for 6 days after his transfer to Behshar prison, during which his body became severely swollen, without receiving any effective medical treatment. As his condition worsened, Mr. Farzad was transferred to Khatam al-Anbiya Hospital in Behshar and contacted his family that same day. However, just a few hours later, in the early morning, he passed away. Following his death, his family came under direct pressure. Officers warned Mr. Farzad's father that if any news sharing, interviews or memorial ceremonies were held, the family's other son would face the same fate as Mr. Farzad. They also threatened that if the case became public, the body would not be released. The family was ultimately forced to sign a written pledge, and Mr. Farzad's body was buried at night in the village of Qalesar, Nekka. Three female students from Mujtahide Amin Girls Vocational School in Ray, Iran, were rushed to a clinic after a violent confrontation with the school's principal and staff. The principal and staff conducted aggressive, widespread, quote-unquote, inspections, looking for mobile phones or hijab violations. Girls were forced to kneel, had their bags emptied onto the floor and were subjected to invasive body searches, staff touching private areas. Students were grabbed, dragged through the school while doors were locked, and riot police, which named Yegane Vije, were called to the scene. The principal insulted the girls with vulgar language, mocked their hairstyles and appearance, threw and destroyed their art, design tools and phones, and smashed a photography student's camera against the wall until it shattered. Several students collapsed from panic attacks and injuries. Ambulances were called and at least 3 girls were taken to the clinic for treatment. This wasn't enforcement of rules, this was humiliation and physical assault on teenage girls by the very adults meant to protect them. Amir Hossein Mousavi, a monarchist political prisoner held in Evin prison, was arrested last year and remains in a state of legal uncertainty in Evin. His defense attorney announced that Mr. Mousavi's case has been referred to Branch 5 of the Security Prosecutor's Office for further investigation. Reza Shafakh, the lawyer, reacted to this development and wrote, "Today marks the completion of the 11th month of my client Amir Hossein Mousavi's detention, and he is now entering his 12th month. Despite this, there is still no news regarding the acceptance of the 9 billion Toman bail, and the case has been sent back to Branch 5 of the Security Prosecutor's Office for additional investigation." The hearing on the charges against Amir Hossein Mousavi was held in Branch 15 of the Tehran Revolutionary Court, presided over by Judge Salavati. In this hearing, Mr. Mousavi, accompanied by his attorney, defended himself against 9 charges, including forming a group or organization to act against national security, propaganda against the state, assembly and collusion to commit a crime against internal security, 9 incidental contact with individuals connected to Israel, insulting Islamic sanctities, financing terrorism, cooperation and exchange of information with individuals linked to Israel, spreading false information and propaganda in favor of Israel. Zartosht Ahmadi Ragheb, a political prisoner serving his sentence in Ghazal Hazar prison in Karaj, was transferred to Karaj Central Prison. According to family sources, prison authorities and the Karaj prosecutor decided to move him to serve the remaining 8 months of his sentence at this facility. Mr. Ragheb was sentenced in a case filed during his imprisonment at Ghazal Hazar prison to 1 year in prison and 2 years of exile. With this sentence enforced, the possibility of his release after nearly 5 years in his previous case was eliminated. Mr. Ragheb was first arrested and later sentenced by the Tehran Revolutionary Court to 5 years and 8 months in prison, along with additional penalties. He has previously faced judicial action and imprisonment for his political activities. Milan Fatemeh Khajei, a monarchist activist and student at Zahedan University who lives in Shiraz and who had previously been sentenced to prison, has been arrested by the security agencies of the Islamic Republic in Shiraz. Her current whereabouts remain unknown. According to received reports, Ms. Khajei, a 30-year-old history student at Zahedan University, has been detained and her family and relatives have no information about her location. This student was previously sentenced by Branch 2 of the Zahedan Revolutionary Court to 1 year in prison for what the court described as distributing anti-government leaflets, writing slogans at the university, and running a Telegram channel. The sentence was reduced to 5 months upon appeal. Kurosh Jalil, a monarchist political activist, was taken to Yasuj Central Prison after being arrested at his home in Yasuj by security forces and transferred to the city's prosecutor's office to begin serving his 15-month sentence. This 44-year-old activist had earlier this year been sentenced by Branch 1 of the Yasuj Transformation Court to 1 year, 3 months and 1 day in prison on the charge of insulting Khomeini and Khamenei, and to 10 months in prison on the charge of propaganda against the state. On the 6th anniversary of the state killing of Puya Bakhtiari, the security agencies of the Islamic Republic prevented Manouchehr Bakhtiari from leaving his place of exile, blocking this grieving father from attending his son's memorial ceremony. Saba Bakhtiari, sister of Manouchehr Bakhtiari, wrote on X, "Today is the 6th commemoration of Puya Bakhtiari. The security agencies, just as they have prevented Manouchehr Bakhtiari from attending his son's memorial for the past 6 years, once again did not allow him to leave his place of forced exile. At the very moment when my brother was reading a statement from afar over the phone, security forces disrupted the ceremony by arresting my nephew, who was only recording the event, and dispersed the guests." She added that despite these restrictions and security pressures, a number of civil activists, political prisoners, and justice-seeking families attended the ceremony. Hossein Sepehri, a political activist, was released from prison after posting a bail guarantee. Ali Sepehri, sharing the news on social media, wrote, "However, my sister Fatemeh Sepehri has remained in prison since September 22nd, 2022, and my brother Mohammad Hossein Sepehri since September 28th, 2023. Victims of the Ramak Khodro company gathered once again to protest, expressing their frustration over 8 years of legal limbo and the continued disregard for court rulings. Protesters say that despite the issuance of verdicts, no practical steps have been taken to restore their violated rights, and the case has been left in a stagnant state. According to them, hundreds of families have suffered severe financial losses, debt, economic pressure and hardships over these years, and while the enforcement of the ruling remains only on paper. Retired employees of the oil industry held a protest gathering in front of the Ministry of Petroleum building on Talaqani Street. Residents of the cities of Ben and Saman gathered in front of the Char Mahal and Bakhtiari governor's office to protest the failure to allocate their water rights and the resulting damage to their orchards. A group of Social Security retirees and teachers gathered in front of the Social Security organization in Rasht and held a protest rally. During the gathering, the retirees chanted slogans including "Imprisoned teacher, imprisoned worker, imprisoned protester must be freed." Also, a group of Social Security retirees in Qazvin gathered in front of the Provincial Social Security Office and held a protest. Telecommunications retirees in Tehran gathered in front of the company's central building on Sardar Jangal Street and, by chanting slogans, voiced their anger over structural corruption, mismanagement, and the injustices committed by shareholder institutions including the IRGC Cooperative Foundation and the execution of Imam Khomeini's order. Telecom retirees in Ahvaz, Qazvin, Hamadan, Kermanshah, Isfahan, Tabriz, and Urumiyeh in a protest gathering against the oppression of the two institutions under Khamenei's command, the RGC and the executive headquarters of Imam's directive, and the owners of the telecom company raised their voices in protest.